Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a little track walkthrough of Nurburgring Grand-Prix, no chicane, which is a lie because there's definitely a chicane up there, but you know, what are you going to do about that? So driving the Honda Civic track, it was 1920C. This isn't a public session, so I'm not sure how the temperatures, track conditions are going to relate to the league session. So it's official and league session this week, so be able to get some good practice in some official racing. This is a 40 liter fuel load, so I only did 6 laps. So I'm sure there's more time in it. Probably a mid six, low fuel load. Tires get a little bit warmer, but this lap I felt pretty confident with the line. How I felt in it. There's a couple things that I know I messed up that I can go over how to do it better than what I will showcase in the video, but anyway, we'll just kind of get right into it. So turn one is kind of tricky. What you don't want to try and do is turn and brake at the same time, especially because the track starts going away from you. Right here, it starts going downhill. So you're going to want to maximize your braking in a straight line. See how I'm trying to keep my car in a straight line as long as possible. And then I still have a little bit of braking in there while turning the wheel. And so you can see what that does. You can see how much understeer I pick up. Even though I have that much wheel in it, I'm still going straight. So that, to me, that was that's probably a tenth that I could find there. And I'm not convinced that these cars is that important to get down to the apex. It's more the rotation that you'll get. I was hoping for more rotation from this point. So I should have broke a little sooner than I did here. So I brake right when this asphalt ends on the left. I probably should have broke like right here. And that would have helped me get down to the apex. But I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. Down into first gear. Maximize the throttle. You do get an off track for going right tires on the white line here, so just be mindful of that. Don't put any effort into getting any wider than I've gotten right here where these tire marks are, because then you're just not. You're wasting a lot of energy trying to sweep all the way out to cut back in, and the line really, because it's such a long turn, setting yourself up that wide doesn't really do a lot as far as pace goes. So I'd recommend just kind of keep it mid-track, sweep over a little bit, then turn in nice and tight. You'll probably bounce off the rev limiter if you stay in second gear. A little bit of trail brake, and here's where I'm going to showcase kind of the little bit of throttle manipulation to keep the car tracking through the turn. Maybe not this lap so much, but see how you go up to 40-50% throttle and keeps the car going. You can't get an off track here. You want to stay as wide as you can, and again, turn in such a way that you can brake in a straight line. Because you have this turn, it's not a standard turn. You have this little dog leg before it. So what I'm going to try and do is match the angle of the dog leg in my braking so I can go in a straight line, almost as if I'm catching it in a straight line right here. And this turn isn't that important to be out here for the turn setup. You can be a little bit tighter, which also helps racing wise. Protect yourself from ascend from behind. So here you're going to see me match the angle of this, because if I'm braking like this, I have to turn that much more, whereas now I can get my car already, my nose pointed more towards the exit than if I followed a braking this way. So trying to angle your car to meet the angle of this white line. So you can go down to first, you can go to second. I really don't think there's a difference. I prefer second. It keeps the wheel spin from being too much of an effect, and you can get on the throttle a little bit sooner, I think, with second gear. So you want to maximize this entry. This is not an off track, getting the right tires on the white line. I think if you go over the white line with the right tires, it is an off track. So just keep that in mind. Use as much of that entry curve as you can. Same thing here. Use as much of this one. And there's not going to be any braking for this next turn. For me personally, I'm sure somebody You might be able to gain a little bit of time. You throw some trail brake in there, drive it harder, trail brake, and then back on throttle. But I like to keep it a little bit more steady. You will get an off track for this one, so left tire's on the white line. If you can get your right tires up on this curb this much, I swear it's like a tenth. So really focus on getting on this entry curb here. Full throttle. You can get your right tires on this, so I had more time to gain by getting on throttle sooner. So I could have gotten on throttle, full throttle probably here, and maximize my entry exit a little bit. So that's something I didn't quite do right. Next we have, what even turn is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn 5. Braking, you're going to be, I like to use these cones on the right side. And the second cone, I could probably honestly go all the way to the first cone. I guess I'm more like the third cone. Whatever, I'll call it second cone. I could probably go to the first cone because I think I underdrove the entry to this a little bit. Again, brake hard in a straight line, and then once you see I give that wheel, I'm off the brake pedal. I don't need the rotation. Now here's really important. You can gain two tenths by doing just this with the throttle. Just hold it there at that 15-20%, and it pulls your car through the apex. Because the way the turn works, it helps you maintain the speed instead of losing speed. So, but you can't drive into the corner going, 129, 130 you can't overdrive in. So it helps keep the minimum speed up, because you can't keep your minimum speed up by driving in faster because the tires can't live with it. But then you get down slow enough to this 125. I'm not number specific. I'm more just giving examples. And then you can maintain this speed because the grip of the tires can live with it. So play around with giving that 15-20% throttle to maintain your minimum speed. So what you don't want to do is start decelerating through the turn, because you're just giving up time when your tires can live with 125, 128 in this application. So what I was saying here is I think I could have gone a little bit deeper because I do get on this curb. And I think that I would have rather been a little bit wider here and meet the curb, meet the white line here, because I think this, it's not a big deal. I'm being really nitpicky about myself. So now, again, straight line. Left tire is on the bricks here, I suppose you can call the rumble strips. I forget, that last one was down to third gear. Next one down to second gear. Hang it out wide. There's no real point brake marker here. Yeah, not really. Anyway, close to this where the bricks start. And there's a little bit of banking on this turn, so again, same exact thing. Notice the throttle input, because you hold that little bit in there to pull the car through. And this is another one where I could have gotten on the throttle a little bit sooner, because this one, you want your left tires to almost be touching the dirt. I think if you touch the dirt, you do get a 1x, but I had half car length to spare. This is probably my weakest turn on the track at the time of filming this. So braking, I'm not sure, because there is banking. There's a couple different ways. You could go aggressive in. You go easy in, good exit. Aggressive in, a little bit worse exit. Both times I've done it has been within 0.05 of a second, so it's really not that big. But this is a really big one. We're hard braking in a straight line. You can't give it any wheel, because then you don't have as good braking effect, and you're going to understeer. So right after where the rumble strips start on the brake, and then hold the trail brake as long as you can, get that car rotated. And this is another one where a little bit of maintenance throttle in the middle can help pull you through the corner. If you wait to get full throttle, like you might for other car disciplines, till here, well, this whole time I'm maintaining speed, whereas if I was off throttle, I'd be losing speed. And the exit speed, the higher you can keep the exit speed in these cars, that's just a lot of time that you can gain. So exit speed is a lot higher here. Perfect. You're going to catch a lot of understeer on this turn, so even if you have to wait till you're here to get full throttle, that's okay. Ease onto the gas pedal. Here, it's pretty much full throttle. You can get on that curb. That's as much as you can go without getting a slowdown So here, you don't get a 1x, you get a slowdown if you get your, I don't know what it is, if it's right tire detection, left tire, 4-wheel, but if you do hear gravel sound going over this, I'll showcase a lap where I get it, you do get a slowdown. But this is pretty easy, full throttle. I recommend not hitting this inside curb, because I had to see that upset. Don't hit that, at least for the Honda. I'm not sure the Hyundais might react a little better. So here, this is another one of my kind of weaker turns. Brake. I might be able to brake at the 100-meter mark, but I'm not convinced. So I max out the braking here, get it down, rotate it down into third gear. This is really just going to be one of those where you have to maximize your speed, not pick up a lot of understeer. But this is another one where there's a long run between, hold on, what turn is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 if they count that as a turn. I'm going to call it turn 10. So 10 to 11 is a pretty long run to where it's worth it if you can maximize your exit here. So use a little bit of, wait for the front end to get settled. This is really important, bring it all the way out to the outside, because this is probably the most important turn on the track. And then again, see how I have the little bit of throttle manipulation in there? And then full throttle as soon as you can grab it. Here's another one where I had a little bit of room to get a bit more pace. So not going to lose too much sleep over that one. But anyway, so here's the no chicane section of the track, even though it's 100% a chicane. This turn kind of sucks because if you grab just a little bit of off-track here, this would be one where if you have off-track suspend, use them here, because it's literally like a tenth or two. If you use all of this and you get up on that yellow and red, it's worth a lot. But here, brake just almost the 50-meter mark. Not quite. Hard braking in a straight line. And then this one, if you can grab throttle early, this is just going to be feel it out. I think it's kind of hard to say, oh, this is the perfect way to do it. Turn in point, all of that. It's going to be, like, I needed to be tighter here. So every lap, see how I have that gap? I'll go in the cockpit view. But it's really hard to spot because you can't see it until you've already committed to turning in. So there is just wasn't super good. Last turn, also be careful going here because you can wash out. Really easy to wash out and clip a tire and spin out. Here again, I kind of like to angle my car, brake in a straight line, and do what I call diamonding off the turn. Is I kind of send it in, pop out a little bit, and then get back on throttle. I don't like the maintained turn where you just kind of like go through the turn. I like a little bit more direct. Rotate hard and then back on the throttle hard approach. And here, again, I probably could have maximized a little bit, but you can't get it off track there. So that lap was a 107.2. Like I said, likely a 106.5, 106.3 probably in the lap, but this showcases the line quite well. So we'll just we'll do a cockpit view of the whole lap. All right, and that's the lap. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you on Monday.